AITA for calling the cops on my breeder-loving neighbor who tied my dog to hers without permission?
I am not Oop. Oop is you, doodle throwaway. Originally posted to our AITAH. AITA for calling the cops on my breeder-loving neighbor who tied my dog to hers without permission? Trigger warnings. Animal abuse and neglect. Fraud. Less than an NBSP. Original post December 22, 2023. Sorry. This is long but my mind is still blown. Alright, Reddit. I need some serious judgment here.
I, 20F, have a beautiful golden retriever, Luna. She's my life, the furrier sister I never had. Last night, I went out with friends and left Luna in the backyard with a fresh bowl of water and a full toy box. When I stumbled back in around 2 a.m., I nearly tripped over a furry tangle in the middle of the lawn. It was Luna, tied to our grumpy neighbor's poodle, Mr. Snuggles. Now, Mr. Snuggles is special. He's one of those designer doodle hybrids, and my neighbor, Susan, 50s, is obsessed with ethical breeding. We've had plenty of heated discussions about her stance on backyard breeders and designer dogs, mostly fueled by me ranting about how ethically wrong doodles are. Turns out, while I was out sipping tequila sodas, Susan decided to play matchmaker with our unsuspecting pups. She admitted to letting Mr.
Snuggles out while she was napping, wink wink nudge nudge, and hoping Luna would take care of things. Apparently, Susan wants designer golden doodles and thinks it's perfectly okay to use my dog as her personal breeding machine. I was livid. I untied Luna, thankfully she seemed unharmed, and marched over to Susan's house, ready to unleash the mama bear in me. She was unapologetic, rambling about designer breeds being the future and how Luna's healthy genes would create the most adorable puppies. I told her she had no right to involve my dog without my permission, especially considering our differences. Susan then dropped the real bombshell. She already lined up buyers for the non-existent puppies and expected me to be on board with sharing the profits. Like, I should be thrilled my poor Luna was used against her will and I get a cut as some sort of consolation prize?
Long story short, I called the cops. Susan is throwing a tantrum, accusing me of ruining her business venture, and Luna is cowering behind my legs, probably traumatized by the whole ordeal. So, Reddit, who's the jerk here? Am I overreacting by involving the authorities? Should I have just discussed this civilly with Susan? Seriously, how? Or did I do the right thing by protecting my dog? TLDR, neighbor tied my dog to hers without permission to breed them for designer puppies. Am I wrong for calling the cops? AITAH has no consensus spot, but based on the comments, there are mixed reactions.
Relevant comments. Critical whiskey. NTA. But you absolutely shouldn't have left an intact female outside alone. Especially when she's in heat. Also, your neighbor isn't obsessed with ethical breeding. Ethical breeders don't randomly try to breed their dog to the neighbors. Especially behind the back of the other owner. Especially to have mixed breed puppies. She's just another unethical person who's jumped on the doodle train because she thinks it's a get-rich quick scheme. Oop, you're absolutely right, and I need to own my part in this. Huge NTA to me. But I owe you and everyone else some clarification. First, the heat cycle blindsided me. Luna's only 20 months, and this is her first. I haven't noticed any discharge or behavioral changes I recognized as signs. And honestly, I wasn't expecting it so soon. That's completely on me. I underestimated my responsibility and didn't take the proper precautions. I'm kicking myself over it because clearly, it put Luna in a vulnerable position. Second, you're spot on about Susan. Calling her obsessed with ethical breeding was a huge miscalculation. Ethical breeders wouldn't dream of this reckless, disrespectful stunt. Her actions were not only unethical but also a blatant invasion of Luna's and my trust. Her talk about future of designer breeds is just a smokescreen for a money-grabbing scheme that used my dog as a pawn. Thanks for calling me out on the whole, leaving Luna outside alone, thing. I needed that. This whole experience has been a crash course in dog ownership 101. And I'm learning the hard way. Luna's at the vet now for a checkup. Susan can throw all the tantrums she wants. My only priority is Luna's health and well-being. Thank you, everyone, for the support and the reality check. I'm still shaking from the whole ordeal, but I'm taking all your advice to heart. Consider this a public pledge to become a more responsible, informed dog owner who wouldn't let anything like this happen again. Flower-powered fox. I agree with you. At the first mention of Tide, I also thought that, but reading further down it seemed as though the crazy neighbor literally tied the two dogs together with leashes or whatever. I speculate that the neighbor, at very least, regardless of all her talk, does not understand how dogs breed, or this situation wouldn't have happened. I feel bad for the poor male poodle. I imagine he has a very weird life. Oop, you're completely right. There was definitely a misunderstanding. Luna and Mr. Snuggles weren't just leashed together, they were, unfortunately, tied literally tail to tail in the act of breeding thanks to Susan's brilliant matchmaking plan. Imagine my shock when I stumbled out at 2 a.m. and saw that mess. Neither Susan nor I, it seems, truly grasped the mechanics of canine reproduction. Turns out a heated debate about ethical breeding doesn't cover nodding. This whole situation has been an eye-opening experience. To say the least, the police and animal control are involved now. And Luna's getting a thorough checkup. While I'm grateful for the clarity everyone's bringing, I'm also feeling pretty awful about my lack of awareness regarding Luna's heat cycle and the irresponsible actions of both me and my neighbor. Lesson learned the hard way. For sure, time to take responsibility, step up my dog parenting game, and make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Thanks for keeping me honest. And NBSP. Update December 28, 2023. Hey Reddit, remember Luna and the poodle playdate from hell? Buckle up, because the drama just took a serious turn. And this time, Susan's not holding the leash. Remember how that self-proclaimed ethical breeder tried to turn my Luna into her personal puppy factory? Turns out, Susan's business ventures weren't as ethical as she liked to preach. The cops, tipped off by concerned neighbors, paid her a visit, and let's just say her doodle dreams officially went belly up. Unlicensed breeding? Check. Animal cruelty for keeping her dogs in cramped, unsanitary conditions? Check. Turns out, Mr. Snuggles wasn't the only victim of Susan's twisted schemes. Several other unfortunate pups were rescued, and Susan's facing a mountain of charges that would make a Rottweiler wince. As for Luna, my fierce golden girl, she's thriving. The shock of the unexpected pregnancy has faded, replaced by a warm anticipation for the little miracles growing inside her. The vet bills, thanks to Susan's oopsie, are still a hurdle. But with the investigation underway, there's a chance Susan might actually have to face financial consequences for her actions. Now, the question I'm wrestling with, Reddit, is what to do about the pups. Selling them to cover the bills was an idea tossed around. But with Susan's ethical standards exposed, the whole notion feels tainted. Would using Luna's pregnancy to clean up Susan's mess feel like exploiting her again? Then again, there's another option. Luna's breeder, with a heart of gold and extensive golden retriever knowledge, suggested she'd take them on. Not a breeding operation, mind you, but a temporary haven for these little miracles until they find loving forever homes. The adoption fees? They'd go towards Luna's care, of course, but also towards supporting local shelters and animal welfare initiatives. It's a big decision, Reddit, one that weighs Luna's well-being against the financial burden Susan dumped on us. But the thought of those innocent pups languishing in shelters because of someone else's greed, it tears me up. And honestly, I don't want to spay abort. It goes against my values. And what if Luna wants those pups? I'd feel horrible taking that away from her. So, here I am, seeking your wisdom once again. Am I wrong to consider adoption for Luna's pups? Is it a way to heal from the damage Susan inflicted, or just another layer of exploitation? Should I focus on Luna's health and let the authorities handle the financial fallout? Help me navigate this. Reddit, Luna and I, and maybe even a litter of adorable mutts. Rely on your judgment. Woofs of gratitude. And a paw full of uncertainty. Luna's human, still figuring out how to pick up the pieces after Susan's storm. And NBSP.
This is a repost sub, I am not Oop. Wait, 6 days in between posts and Oop already confirmed the pup's pregnancy? MHMMM.
As for Luna, my fierce golden girl, she's thriving. The shock of the unexpected pregnancy has faded, replaced by a warm anticipation for the little miracles growing inside her. Quote, I am going to hunt down Oop and make her watch some presentations from many vets. Clockwork Orange style, until she realizes more puppies aren't the solution. Spay and neuter your fucking pets. But what if the dog also wants to chase cars in traffic and eat any raisins you can offer? It's our job now to do some better thinking for them on account of how this is domestication works. Dogs do not make wise decisions autonomously. That is why they are pets. It's sad when a horrible pet owner comes with a story trying to justify themselves because their neighbor is worse. I don't want to spay abort. It goes against my values. And what if Luna wants those pups? I'd feel horrible taking that away from her. Quote, WTF if Oop had gotten the dog spayed during the first checkups. Oop mentions she would have never known. Letting her get pregnant enough to be aware, or as aware as a dog could be, of the puppies is a mistake. I'm not an expert, and maybe there was a medical reason for not doing the spay right away, but this seems like such a stupid excuse from Oop. This is bordering on animal porn, and I'm not even totally sure about the bordering. Spay aborts are very ethical and reasonable solutions, especially since Op's dog is so young that this was her first heat cycle. JFC. Luna's healthy genes. Ah yes, golden retrievers, famous for their healthy genes. Is Oop really trying to force pro-forced birth Christian values on her goddamn dog? Being against spay abort makes it clear that Oop is still a bad dog owner too. Editing to add, that line plus the fact that the dog is nearly 2 years old and still intact, was allowed to go into heat makes me suspect they're one of those crunchy idiots who's against spaying and neutering dogs because it's unnatural. Ugh.
If we're all being honest, this didn't happen.
The dog doesn't even have to be spay aborted. At this early point you can get a set of 2 injections to stop the pregnancy, which the Oop would know if they'd actually been to a vet. So either the story is bull or they haven't even tried to stop the pregnancy. What if Luna wants her pups? Head desk. Not Oop staying how she won't spay abort in case Luna wants the puppies, and then immediately talks about giving them to forever homes. What? Why does no one spay and neuter their dogs anymore? My God, I feel bad for Luna. Pets don't deserve to be treated like this. The neighbor is already a terrible person, but Op is just as stupid and clearly a bad dog owner. Luna deserves a better owner. 20 months? She was 20 months old and hadn't been spayed yet? Jesus Christ. Oop is the asshole for that alone. The poor young dog. That they didn't spay her immediately is horrible. Bad owners all around. Let's steal Luna and give her to a human who isn't a giant twit. Who's with me? So anyways, here is my mother's recipe for tater tot casserole. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.